everybody, happy Friday. So as you can see, I'm on daddy duties. So my wife and daughter went to go see was it Barbie, so I am home taking care of our son. So this is just, I'm gonna make a quick video. Basically it's gonna be the weekly recap, and we're gonna go over what happened today. I didn't get to trade NASDAQ on my challenges, but I did start my unlimited challenges, and I did trade S&P. Okay. So, real quick, guys, follow Intraday. Amazing content. A lot of nuggets. Dude, absolutely loved your video. So, anybody that's watching these, follow him, subscribe. It's a lot of great information. And he puts it down a way that you can understand it. All right. So, back to today. So here we have NQ. I'm going to mark out the high and low. If you're new to the channel, this is what I do every single day. I take price from 12 a.m. to 8:30, mark out the high and low, and wait for it to get broken, all on the 5-minute candle. Right? Price breaks the high. So now we're looking for this low to be broken, for it to be considered a market structure shift. Don't get it. Now we're looking for this to be broken. Don't get it. And then finally, we get it here. Right? The reason why I didn't get in on this trade is because it was already getting to late in the day, and price never retraced back fast enough to get in on the trade. Right? So if I would have taken this position, say top to bottom, 61.8. Here's the fair value gap. Okay. Oh no. Right? Let's just say that you put a short position at this fair value gap, covered your high, and targeted 2 times the risk. What happened? Oh, I know. Daddy talking too much? You don't want it? Okay. If you start to cry, I'll have to put it in your mouth. Okay? Yo, there you go. I know. You see? Told you. Sorry, guys. So yeah, playing price forward, you're gonna see we get tagged into the trade, but then it's already late in the day. It's Friday, market's about to close, and it just goes flat. So you could have just gotten out at the trade with a little bit of profit, but it wasn't playing through. However, yes, the S&P did. So you guys can see it already, but I'll mark it. I'll rewind it and then follow through the steps. Right. So here we go. You got price between 12 a.m. to 8:30. Here's the low. Let's mark out the high. Let's wait for the low or the high to be taken out. Right? High gets taken out. All right, so we're looking for that low to be broken. Now we're looking for this to be broken. Now we're looking for that to be broken, right? So that breaks, fair value gap created, short position. This is the trade I actually took today, right? Cover my highs, 2 times the risk, and then play price through. Yeah, full TP. Now, I want to be completely transparent. I set 2 positions with this trade, each one 0.5%. Hey, buddy. What? So I entered in on the bottom of the fair value gap and also at the top of the fair value gap. thinking it through, I'm not going to do that going forward just because my back test, I didn't do it that way, right? So on my back test, all I did was at the bottom of the fair value gap. And we'll go over the numbers real quick just to refresh everybody's memory on what the win rate is. But I did enter in two positions. So I had one there and I had another one right up here, right? So where this was a 1 to 2, I got out of this trade. So just because, again, I know that this strategy hits 90 something percent of the time when it's a 1 to 1. Honestly, if you guys sit there and backtest it, you'll see that at least from April moving forward, the 1 to 1 win rate is insane. So I just started those challenges. I wanted it to be a little more, I guess, not conservative. I just wanted like secure profit. But moving forward, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to run exactly what I back tested, which was a 2 to 1, risking $1,000 to make $2,000, right? Every time that I said I mark these things up, it just gives me more and more data, but it also like reassures my edge, right? Like that's ultimately the only thing that we can do as traders. So going over um, the win rate. So let me pull up my Excel sheet. SPX, cool. So you guys can see this week was $4,000 positive if I would have traded the entire week, right? I would have lost Monday and Tuesday, but it was 3 straight wins. The win rate is this box right here, this green box. It's a 71% win rate. It's got a 67% win rate on red news days, 81% with no news, and then the win rate actually has got a decent win rate when Powell speaks. News without Powell, yeah. And then I have it also. Mondays is my least profitable day, and then the other ones are pretty straight. Wednesday by far is the most profitable day I have, 94% win rate for a 2 to 1. And then NASDAQ was no trade today. I gotta do this. Where's my data? Some of. Sorry. Oh, what was break even? Duh. So this was a break even week for NASDAQ. Again, my win rate with NASDAQ is 62%, which is still really good. And yeah, that's where we're at. So jumping back to this, my client area. So we're up 3.3% almost on the phase 2. This phase 1 was it's connected to the NASDAQ phase 1, and then this is connected to the ES phase 1. Oh well, then the new ES. These two are ES accounts that I decided to put them together. So actually, I think this is the ES account, and then this was the one that was connected to NASDAQ. Whatever. So I started my unlimited challenges just because I am impatient and frustrated, even though more than likely I will pass these time challenges. But I want to be. My goal is to accumulate $1 million in prop firm funding, right? So I want to be able to have that type of balance to trade in the future. That makes sense. I did this whole video earlier about like what my goal is, and basically the way that I see it is that I'm trying to secure $1 million in funding. Let's say max out FTMO, max out my Forex funds. I got $1 million. Lower my risk from 1% to 0.25%, right? So instead of, hey buddy, you want your bobo? Here. So So this way I don't run any risks of actually blowing the account, right? I have a goal in mind, which is to double my current income. What I'm looking for is freedom, right? Freedom for this little guy, freedom for my family, freedom to sit there and and have the weights kind of lifted off of me as far as being tied to a 9 to 5, which don't get me wrong, I have an amazing 9 to 5 and I really appreciate it. And but freedom I don't have, right? That's one thing I really don't have. So that's what I'm looking for. And I believe that starting off with um, the way that I'm trying to structure it, it's gonna bring me that. So let's just say last week I did have a $6,000 week. There's if you take a look at the Excel information, right? So let's just take let's go to the SPX 5 minute. Let's take the month of June, right? So here is 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That is $22,000, risking 1% per trade, 22 grand. So I'm saying I'm gonna risk $250 per trade. So that would be a quarter of that. So a quarter would be uh about 5 grand, right? Because if it was $10,000, a quarter of $10,000, 25. So yeah, about a little over $5,000. So on one account, multiply that by 10 accounts. So that becomes $5,000 becomes $50,000 within the month, right? So that's where I'm seeing it. That's how I'm looking at things. So that's my main goal. Then after that, don't get me wrong, I know that there's a bunch of other prop firms out there like the Funded Trader and all these other um, prop firms that have come up and they're reputable and they're paying out. I'm also going to take those challenges after the profits from these, and I will not go, a quarter% risk. I am going to go full risk, like full 1%, 1.5% on those accounts, and say YOLO. You know what I mean? Like try to gain as much money out of those accounts as possible, as long as I already have my cushion set up, and that's my goal. That's the way I see these things. I'm trying to look at it more as a business more than anything else, as far as my profit and loss sheet. So taking these trades and just marking it up, honestly, guys, is that if you're not doing it, you should be, because all this data is what helps you in the long run believe in your edge, your strategy, whatever it is, however you're trading, whatever it is, it'll help you. Like you could grab any one of these 4 week periods, 1, 2, 3, 4, another $22,000 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This was $18,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. This was $22,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. This was $20,000. Like you'll have weeks where you don't do well, but typically, it hits. Now, NASDAQ, which is what I started trading, just because I've always traded NASDAQ, or something. Pretty much, I started off on US 30 and then started looking at NAS, and I just really liked the way it moved. And that's why I started looking at the strategy on NASDAQ, and then my eyes jumped to what's it called, the S&P, just because of ICT trades it. So I started looking at it in depth, right? So, but the same thing, even on NASDAQ, this is $17,000. Here you got $13,000. Here you got $20,000. Here you got $22,000, right? Even if you do these last 4 weeks, it's still $19,000. All you got to do is execute the trades, right? Execute the trades. However you backtest, or whatever information you compiled, and you could find yourself profitable, you got to stick to that. And that's probably the hardest thing for me. Even today, even though that I have a freaking 90-something% win rate on a 1-to-1, and dude, a 70% win rate. Like I had a 70% chance of winning that trade today, and I still cut. I cut it early. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to cut it early. I could have moved my stops to break. Let's say take a 2-to-1 on the trade where I caught it at a higher position. Okay, fine. I could have let the other one ride. I could have, if anything, moved my stops to break even. But that also messes with me because there's been plenty of times where price will come up and then hit TP, right? So, anyways, I gotta go back to being a dad, guys. It was amazing being on here like always. I love all you guys that are actually following the channel. And oh man, that's a big yawn. All you guys that are interacting with me, I really, really appreciate it. Um, it you have no idea how much it's been helping. How much like you guys are helping me like by far more than any mentor has ever helped. And just because it's, don't get me wrong, not because I didn't receive help from those mentors. I gotta appreciate the mentor that I had because he did teach me a lot when it came to risk to reward and all that kind of stuff. But as far as consistency goes and sticking to like my rules, I honestly have to say that knowing that you guys are watching these videos and sitting there and supporting me has helped me tremendously. Anyways, again, guys, follow my boy. Amazing content. He also has a Discord channel. That, like, honestly, if you want like a good group to sit there and just learn from, follow him. Everybody have a good night.